Hello, and welcome to Cabaret Beat. I'm your host, Wydetta Carter, and as a singer-actress myself, I am excited to bring to you this new virtual series from the Chicago Cabaret Professionals. Until we can all come to the cabaret again at all our favorite spots, we are coming to you with some of your favorite singers, new voices you may not have heard before, their stories, and of course, great music. Today's guests are Michael Joseph Mitchell and Laura Freeman. There's never been a more important time for us to engage, connect, and share our experiences through music and conversation. So, let's join in the chat, share with your friends, and let's begin the Cabaret Beat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
The visitors come knocking at my door, paying me their nightly call. Sorrow shows up early, while worry paces up and down the hall. Fear comes around once a week, always trying to sell me something. And envy brings me flowers from the neighbor's lawn. The visitors come knocking at my door, I'm the mat they step upon. The visitors come knocking at my door, some for dinner, some for tea. Loneliness can overstay his welcome, but I could use the company. Grief sleeps at my feet, next to down. Don't have the heart to kick them out, and pity throws me parties now and then. The visitors come knocking at my door, here they come again. Lord knows they've made my place a mess, but I love them anyway, I guess. Why do the hardest feelings make the easiest guests? Not like trust, what a flake, cancels every plan we made. And courage rings the bell, but then he runs away. And hope means well, but I prefer brother dread. And joy can be swell, but misery's better in bed. And forgiveness is not invited anymore. Still she sits on my stoop on loop, saying, I know you're in there. You gotta come outside sometime. I know you're in there. Let me in. You gotta come outside sometime. I know you're in there. Let me in. You gotta come outside sometime. You know the hardest feelings, wanna be your guests. So when the visitors come knocking at your door, be careful who you host. The ones who hurt the worst are the ones you love the most.
Michael Joseph Mitchell, hello.
Hello, Wydetta. It's such a pleasure to talk to you.
Oh, same here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, I can't wait to get started with you. At why? Because you and I have a similar background. We come from the theater world. So, briefly, give us a little background about your, history of your theater world.
I actually, although I'm from Chicago, I lived in New York for about 15 years. Belonged to a couple theater companies there. My wife and I wound up moving back here around '99, and since then I've been a lucky boy. I did some things at Drury Lane, Oakbrook. I've done some out of town, Indiana Rep, Syracuse Stage, the season at the Oslo. And even though I'm a musical geek, I've done just a few of those, but they are precious to me. So I have done a few musicals.
Okay, and there are two that you did recently. Tell us what you did at the Lyric Opera.
Sure, their production of My Fair Lady, which starred Lisa O'Hare and Richard E. Grant and Bryce Pinkham, which was absolute joy. I mean, first of all, I love ensembles and musicals. Working with ensemble people in musicals is breathtaking. Frankly, they're the ones with the professionalism and the hard work. So I learned a lot from the stars of that show, but also from watching that ensemble and being part of it. It was glorious.
That's great. Okay, so then here we are. You are in the world of cabaret.
Hmm.
I want you to share a story that you told me about watching a PBS one night. I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, my wife and I were watching on PBS. They broadcast Alan Cummings' cabaret act. This was late 2016, and midway through it, she stopped the video and sort of poked me in the chest, a la Billy Rose, and said, "You have to do this. If you don't, I'm never going to forgive you." Because she knows me. Music is my life raft, my everything. What
Mhm.
gets me standing up in the morning and out the door. And I used to play guitar in bars occasionally and stuff like that, but I'd never put it together in that way. And she said, "You got to do this," and she was right. So yay, grateful.
Okay, so then how did you have to do it? How did you do it? What were your steps?
Yeah, it was tough. Well, the first thing I did, which was smart, is I went to my dear friend and one of my cabaret heroes, Miriam Plotkin, and I got on the phone with her, and I said, how do I do this? And she spent a couple hours on the phone with me, just walking me through the steps. And then she wound up singing backups with me and bringing in the other backup singers for my first two shows. And yeah, through her holding my hand and kind of walking me through how to make it happen, I did. I took like 9 months, and just sort of slowly crafted the set that felt right. And as I'm sure you knew, chose things, tried them, threw them away. Um, but it is, well, it's tough. But I want to say that it is probably the most rewarding thing I've ever done, to have done these three shows, as much as I've loved my theater gigs. The thing they have in common is that we create a temporary family. I mean, and that's why I've always loved the theater, is the temporary families we create, some of whom are hard to let go of. I've got folks, we still have a text chain going from years ago.
Oh,
I'm,
sure, sure.
yeah.
Sure. Okay, so you have done three shows so far. The
Mhm.
first one, I love the title, Guide for the Perplexed.
Yes. Yes, it's a musical guide for the perplexed.
Oh,
I love insert. My idea was to insert the word musical into each of the title, because it's not just a guide for the perplexed. It's a musical guide, and taking proverbial phrases and making that. And so my whole opening beat of that was about how terrified I was to do this. So I sang
hmm.
"Don't Look." I sang "Don't Look at Me" by Sondheim, and then finally sang "Closer and Closer and Closer" from the musical of The Little Prince. So I made the whole first beat of it about trying to connect with the audience and get past my fear.
Okay, which led to the next one,
Mhm.
the musical Meaning of Life.
Yes.
And I love subtitles. So it was actually the musical brackets, meaning of life, or more candor, less Kant. And that was, yeah, that
Okay.
they've all continued. They've all been about this whole theme about music just saving my bacon and how it probably saves everybody else, especially in the difficult last few years that we've had. It's what's gotten me through, and doing the shows and working on that material got me through, and hopefully did something for an audience as well to bring us together and heal a bit through music.
So then now a musical survival kit.
Yeah.
What's in the survival kit? I didn't see that yet.
The other thing I love is because I grew up, reading gatefold sleeves of albums, is coming up with the poster because it's like my album cover. What I did was I used my 45 RPM case, my little turquoise one I had when I was 10 years old. And we drew things out of that. First of all, it was kind of about music delivery systems throughout my life. So I first pulled out my teddy bear that still works and wound him up. And then the first few 45s I've got, and then the LPs, tying it to how music gets me through. And so yeah, that one was subtitled a musical survival kit, or in case of emergency, break Philip Glass. And once again I had three awesome singers, and yeah.
Okay, wait. So did you have a little glass thing sitting there with a little hammer in
No,
case you need to break it at the end of the?
I wasn't sure that Davenports would like anyone to have that temptation, so we didn't
Oh,
do that.
oh wow! I just all three of these titles were so unique, and I was like, okay, he has to explain all of them. So are you working on anything new right now?
Actually, yeah. As of, I don't know, I guess a few months ago, I was like, this is going to end at some point, and I've got to be ready. Because I'd really kind of, the last year was a bit of a dark time for me. I kind of like just put it all away, and I needed it back. So I've been working and working to get back vocally where I was, and I've already got a whole set picked out. It's going to change a million times before it happens,
Right.
but they just announced last week that Davenport's is going to open up in August. So
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
I'm going to call up all my peeps and see if we can get something together for the fall or the winter. So for sure.
So as you're putting together these songs for the new show, and you said, it was, this last year for everyone was just, and a lot of time for self-reflection as well.
Yeah.
So did you find yourself leaning toward any specific style of song, or are there songs that you were thinking of that just all of a sudden you're like, okay, this is me. This is what's happening with me right now. This is what I'm going to use. Or did someone give you some new songs?
Hmm. Um, my all-time musical hero is the composer and singer Shana Taub, and she just this week came out with a bunch of new songs. So I'll definitely be looking at those. Yeah, it was tough. I mean, the music I've always chosen is the stuff that kind of buoys me and gets me through. Not that it's all serious. I like as much nonsense as possible. The one thing I wanted to do for myself, not only for the audience, is to at least start it as a burst of joy. Because even though I wanted to find songs that bring in and reflect what we've all been through, I wanted at least the whole first beat of it to be about, here we are again, and isn't it amazing? So I've got a few really joyful songs to lead off for sure, and then we'll see where else it goes. I've looked at a lot of songs that are reactions to the kind of pain and loss and drama that we've all seen, and definitely need some of that, although I don't want to overdo it.
Right,
But
right,
people got to have a good time.
right. The people are ready to come back and go, yay! But
Yeah.
you can't forget what happened. So you know, this should be a accumulation of, you and, how you're getting to this spot now. Because, our fans everyone is waiting for everyone to come back.
Yeah.
Live music is, as far as I'm concerned, you need to feel the people in the room with you. Just the energy propels, keeps you going and going and going. And then before you know it, your hour is up and you're like, wait a minute, okay, I have some more to do. Do
A-
another show. We create another show. So,
yeah.
so
Amen to that. And especially,
yeah.
that's one of the things I discovered in doing cabaret is just this room full of people where you can keep finding a new person to share the next thought with. That really propels a song. Yeah,
It
I
does.
miss it.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait. August is the month. So before we conclude here, can you please just tell me one thing that has nothing to do with musical theater, cabaret, or anything that you like to do? It could be strange. It could be, not strange. Strange to me, but you know what I mean. It could be anything. Just something off the beat. What do you like to do?
Wow. I don't want to be boring, but it's always music. What else do I like to do? Uh, 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 oh boy. Oh boy.
Okay, well, if it's always music,
Yeah.
tell us a few styles of music that you like.
I
We
love it
know you like
all.
cabaret. We know you
Yeah.
like cabaret.
I love it all. I think the thing I love the most is artists, and I've tried to do this in each of my shows, who take a song and rework it, set it completely differently, and surprise you, or bump one song up against another. To my favorite living jazz artists, Gabrielle Stravelli and Renee Marie, do that a lot, and I just
Yes.
yeah. And I just love that. There's one I want to try to see if I can include in the next one. But another band that is just so precious to me, the a cappella group Naturally 7, did this mashup of Walk This Way and Walk On By, which is awesome.
Oh, oh wow. What's the name of the group again?
Naturally 7. They don't like being called a cappella. They're vocal play because they actually do all the instruments. They
Mhm.
they are just, if boy, talk about some soul saving. They are awesome.
No. See, that's wonderful. And now you just opened my eyes up to something new because now I'm gonna have to go find that. So so okay, time has flown. Oh my goodness. But before I let you go, you're going to sing for us and tell me what you're going to sing.
Slightly lesser known Irving Berlin song called It's a Lovely Day Tomorrow. The front page of your paper is bound to make you sad, especially if you're the worrying sort. So turn the front page over when news is not so bad. There's consolation in the weather report. It's a lovely day tomorrow. Tomorrow is a lovely day. Come and feast your tear-dimmed eyes on tomorrow's clear blue skies. If today your heart is weary, if every little thing looks gray, just forget your troubles and learn to say tomorrow is a lovely day. Come and feast your tear-dimmed eyes on tomorrow's clear blue skies. If today your heart is weary, if every little thing looks gray, just forget your troubles and learn to say, tomorrow is a lovely day.
Michael Mitchell, thank you very much.
Thank you, Wydetta.
So I hope that you're enjoying Cabaret Beat. Right now we are going to make the Singer's Stinger Cosmo, and we're going to be using the Chicago Cabaret vodka. We got our glass, we've been cooling off here. 2.5 shots of Chicago Cabaret vodka. Right there, and a little bit more. Okay, so we got 1 shot of Cointreau. If you don't have Cointreau, you can use triple sec, but believe me, it's not going to be as good. Okay, 1 shot of Cointreau. We got 1/2 ounce of lime juice right here. Have 1/4 ounce lemon juice right there. Then we're going to put a dash of cranberry juice, just a dash, just for color. There you go. Just a dash of honey. There you go. Let's give this a shake. Why a Singer's Stinger? Well, because it's got orange, it's got honey, it's got lemon, it's got vodka, and now we're just going to add a little bit of burnt orange and burnt lemon rind to this beautiful concoction that we're making up. Okay, take a little piece of lemon, the shiny part down, right there. See that, how that lit up? That's beautiful. Do it one more time. Okay, let's do the orange. These oils light right up, right on top of that beautiful Cosmo. Drop that right in there. Drop the lemon in there. Put a nice wedge, a wheel of lime. Needs a little bit more color, don't you think? There you go. Now it's starting to look like a real Cosmo. I like it. And if you like it too, go out and find yourself a nice bottle of Chicago Cabaret vodka. Half of the proceeds are donated back to the Chicago Cabaret. I know you can find this at the Rogers Park Provisions North. You can also find it at the Liquor Barn out in Wheeling, and ask your local store to start carrying that.
Every time they open the doors, as I stand in the lobby, little flashes of soundtrack come floating through the air. Those time-honored cinema phrases entertain me all day long. And a verse, beginning of song. I love a film cliche because a film cliche is the best entertainment I know. A nice familiar phrase like, hey, why don't we put on a show? I love the dialogue like, please don't shoot my dog. Rusty, he couldn't have eaten those sheep. And the deathless line, we mustn't Charles, it'll only make me feel cheap. I love the faithless wife who takes her lover's life and she's glad. And Colonel Farthingale who starts to shout one day that those drums are driving me mad. I love a line like, gee, why can't you see? I got music inside of me, Pa. And when a witness says, the killer inspector is... tip. Keys. Well, me only simple jungle princess. What means this word? Keys. Yes! I'll have what she's having. Why don't you come up and sing? You had me at hello. There's no crying in baseball! And when the Western cuss says there's no trap for us, we're gonna string them up right away. And then between us, forget. You got till noon to leave Santa Fe. Yippee-ki-yay! I'll never tire of how I love a movie queen. But what am I telling all you guys for? You already took the tour. I love a movie cliche.
Hello, Laura.
Hello, Wydetta. How are you?
I am great. I am so happy you are here today.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I have been looking forward to speaking with you. Why? Because we both come from the theater world.
Yes.
I mean, we met years ago
Yes. Yes.
in the theater world.
Yeah.
So that's where I want to begin. I
Okay.
want you to tell the story of Laura Freeman Theater.
Theater.
Go.
Okay. Well, I went to college for theater. And it was a small college in South Bend, Indiana. And my whole goal was to get out of South Bend, Indiana. So pretty much as soon as I graduated from college, I assumed that I would move to New York and have a beautiful loft like they do in Friends. But instead, I moved to New York and had a beautiful little tiny area in a one-bedroom apartment with a lot of cockroaches. But it gets better. I ended up getting a lot of non-equity tours when I first got there, and it allowed me to visit almost every state in the United States and Canada. I toured Europe. And then I got my equity card and I was super excited. And I also got married and we left New York City. So then I was trying to be a equity actor in the regional houses. Mm-hmm. And I had a bit of luck. I moved to Chicago. I worked at Porchlight and Theater at the Center. And I guess probably the coolest thing was that I sang with Patti LuPone out at Ravinia. That was an amazing experience. But I'm sure. With who?
What show?
It was called Annie Get Your Gun.
Right.
Yeah. Paul Gimignani, he directed the orchestra. I mean, it was like a dream come true for anybody who was in love with the theater like I was when I was in high school. I was such in awe of, Patti and George Hearn. It was an amazing experience. Yes.
So when did you transition into, well, I should say transition into, because I think you still do theater and everything, but when did cabaret become a part of your world?
Well, Wydetta, when you become a certain age and you are here in a semi-medium pool, and I came here with my equity card. So I was working against or trying to be cast against like powerhouses, people who were my age, who had spent their lives, careers here in Chicago. It was very difficult to break in. And I got tired of allowing in most instances, some white old guy to decide if I was good enough to be able to share my art with someone else. And I decided I needed to take my career into my hands and decide when I want to perform and who I want to perform for and what I want to perform. And thank you. And cabaret really gives you all of the power. If you don't want to work, then you don't work. If you want to work, then it's all on you, man. You put the show together. You are the producer. You write the contracts. You schlep your stuff. And I liked having that power all on my own.
And so, but who did you meet to get into the cabaret world here in Chicago?
Well, everybody talks about Becky Menzie.
Well,
I met Becky Menzie, and to be completely honest, I worked with Dan Stetzel for a while. When I first got to Chicago, I was in my early 20s, and we were going to be the first Tom and Becky before Tom and Becky happened, and things didn't work out. And when I moved back here in my late 30s, I reconnected with Becky Menzie, and she kind of helped open the door to this world. And I was so fortunate to not only to call her my friend, but to call her a mentor and a co-conspirator. In fact, we even started a trio, I'm sure you know, called Girls Like Us, her and myself, Marianne Murphy Orland, and we love to sing together. We love spending time backstage. It's a camaraderie that's very similar to theater. Yeah, but again, I just loved having the power to create my own work.
So what was your first show? What was your first cabaret show?
My very first one was the music of Doris Day. It was called Sentimental Journey. And there was a man in town who was very big called Bradford Thacker. And he was kind of booking the cultural center. And he approached me and said, have you ever thought about doing a Doris Day show? And I hadn't. But that little spark got me thinking and doing research, which is another thing I really love doing. And so that I put it together, and that kind of got me going. Yeah.
So how many shows do you have now?
Well, in my back pocket, I do a Doris show, a Julie Andrews show. Then I have ones that focus on different decades. Like I have a 60s show. The girls, we do Carole King, Carly Simon, and Joni Mitchell to finish out that 60s thing. And then I also do composer shows, Gershwin, Cole Porter, Broadway, the golden age of Broadway. Pretty much if somebody asks me, hey, do you have we need I put it together.
There you go. Okay, now I know a little story and I want you to share that. You were at a senior citizens home or something, you were singing and someone wanted you to do something a little bit more peppy. Can you share that story?
Yeah, so I was doing a luncheon at a senior center with George Howe. And it was the music of Gershwin. And so my second song in was Someone to Watch Over Me. And I'm getting to the someone to watch over me. And I watched this older lady get up and she snakes her way through the audience and she comes on stage. She comes right next to me and she goes, what are you talking about? We aren't thinking about falling in love. A little house is ridiculous. We want something peppy, something upbeat. And I was like, it's a Gershwin show. She goes, I don't care. We want something peppy. And then she walks back to her chair. And I looked back at the lady who had booked me and I got nothing. She's pouring coffee. I'm like, okay. So then I looked at George and I was like, okay, George, let's do Singing in the Rain and 2, 3, 4. And we ended up doing a whole hour of just George and I calling the tunes that were all peppy. And it was such a memorable moment. Every time we do something now where the audience is like, whoa, hello. We're like, something peppy.
Well, Well, did she come back to you afterwards and say thank you for doing something
No.
peppy?
No, not at all. She came, nothing was said, and Wydetta, I was never booked there again.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you know, not everything is always a slam dunk, you know, but I mean, you have a stunning voice. I can't see anyone saying, "Oh no, I don't want to hear it," but she wanted pep.
She did.
She must have wanted to get up and dance or something. So,
That's right. That's right.
oh,
Sometimes, you know.
oh my goodness. I wanted you to share that. I saw that written somewhere, and I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, okay. So now, when it comes to the Chicago Cabaret Professionals, you pretty much you are a president emeritus. So when did you actually join? Do you remember?
2005, I think, and
Okay.
I think in 2007 I started serving on the board right away.
Okay.
I think I probably served a good 10 years as the education, one of the education directors, and and then I was Jones vice president. And then
Okay.
the way our line of succession goes, once you're the vice president, then you become the president, kind of gives you since our big thing is the gala, the vice president gave you a lot of in on how to run the gala. And so so then eventually I was president. I did that for 2 years. Right now we have we put in place a term limit. And so I did my service and then got off the board. But I had a wonderful time. You get to meet some really amazing people, not just performers, but also people who love the art form, who support us through Circle of Song, or come to all of the events, and they know everybody's name, whether you know them or not. They know your name, and they appreciate what you do, and they're the claps in the dark. Thank God for them.
And you set up a rapport with all of the locations where people perform, where all of the cabaret members perform.
That's true.
So with that being said, and thank you for, you know, all your service with, you know, CCP. It's wonderful. You know, everybody works so hard to keep cabaret in the forefront here in Chicago. And I can honestly say that when I speak about the Chicago Cabaret Professionals, people are like, oh yeah, like, you know, and I don't know where we'd be without it, actually. So do you have a show coming up later this year? Seems like August seems to be the year that people are coming back.
That's true. That's true. Well, I don't have an original thing quite yet, but I'm with the girls out at Hey Nani on July 7th, which is up in Arlington Heights. And then I do have, as traumatic as the senior center was at that one time, I have a couple of senior bookings coming up, which always is I actually really love it. And
okay, just make sure you have some peppy music in there.
Oh,
in the back. If you hear the word peppy, you're like, I got you. I'm good.
Yeah. There's much more up tempos than there are ballads in any of my shows now. It's because of that.
Because of that. Okay, Laura, time has flown by. Oh my goodness. But before you go, I do know you are going to sing for us. So what will you be singing?
I'm going to sing a peppy tune called Miss Bird.
Okay.
The sign says, I'm Miss Bird. Well, that's my name. I'm one of those people who all look the same. At work, I'm hardly seen. I come and go, but I know something that people don't know. Everyone who sees me thinks I'm that dull Miss Bird. I could blow that myth apart, but I don't say a word. I sit here at my desk, and no one knows. Not 20 minutes ago, I was not wearing clothes. I was in someone's arms, in someone's bed. Oh, what the thought of it does to my head. If it's true a bird makes music when her heart takes wing, this bird is singing. This bird is singing. I'm singing. I'm in love, but I'm not saying a thing. Down in apartment A, the super's aptly named. Last week I went to the basement more hours than I claimed. He says I'm super too. He calls me hot. I fill those basement apartments a lot. Back at work, I'm crisp and fresh. Reliable Miss Bird. Seals are dancing in my flesh, but I don't say a word. I'm showing penthouse C as I begin. I still feel his hands gliding over my skin. My nipples start to throb inside my bra. That's when I start to go la-da-dee-da. If you've never felt the lift a little lunch can bring, well, this bird is singing. Miss Bird is singing. I'm singing. I'm fire, but I'm not saying a thing. No, 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 no. This is a 4 through 5. I call it more a 6. The broken kitchenette tiles they will fix. Lots of girls who first seem shy have secrets I have found. If you think I'm special, I suggest you look around. That little office temp who seems so dumb, how come a trip to McDonald's is making her hum? And Mrs. Smith in sales, who's turning gray, why is she smiling that curious way? If it's true the drabbest songbirds come alive in spring, the birds are singing. Miss Bird is singing. I'm singing. I'm in love, but I'm not saying a thing. No, 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 no. Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard. Shigadoo, 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 da, da,
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Laura Freeman. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you all for tuning in to Cabaret Beat. Please visit our website at chicagocabaret.org to learn more about us, view our monthly calendar where you can see when and where our guests and other members are performing, and also the different ways you can join and or support Cabaret here in Chicago. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.